I received my admission letter to a prestigious university, becoming the first university student in our village. The 50-year-old widower from the village came with 100,000 yuan to propose. A child of a university student will undoubtedly be smart. My grandmother couldn't contain her happiness and agreed at once. The night before the wedding, my mom sneaked into my locked room and handed me all my identification documents. A card-ready mobile and 800 yuan. Among the 3 children, Mom is most unfair to you. Daya, run. My mom gave me the 800 yuan that she had saved for nearly 20 years and made me run away from the hellhole I've lived in for 18 years. Relying on this 800 yuan, I took the green train for more than 10 hours and arrived at the capital. I wore ragged clothes with patches, ate steamed buns for 1 yuan, and slept on park benches. Luckily, it was summer, so I wouldn't freeze to death. However, this life didn't last more than a few days. I found a summer job, and life slowly got better. I paid my tuition fee with my earnings and got a part-time job as a tutor. Thanks to the school's reputation, parents paid me 100 yuan per hour. In little less than a month, I made twice the amount that my mother had saved for more than 10 years. Reading is really wonderful. In 4 years of university, through scholarships and part-time jobs, I saved 100,000 yuan. Having 100,000 is quite a concept. 4 years ago, it could buy the life of a young girl. In my mother's old flip phone, she was the only contact. Over the course of 10 years, I sent her countless messages, but they all fell into silence. One day, while doing experiments in the lab, my phone vibrated suddenly. It was my mom, shaking. I clicked on the message and saw, "Mom is dead. She told you not to come back. You can call me at 10 o'clock at night if you have any questions." I froze on the spot. My impressions of my mother were still with the night 4 years ago. Her face had already become blurry. I only remembered her smiling with tears, waving at me, urging me to run. At 10 o'clock in the evening, I made the call. Mom said that out of the 3 children, she felt most sorry for me. She was bought back by my grandmother with 2,000 yuan when she was young. After I left, my dad kept hitting my mom, asking where I had gone. But my mom wouldn't tell. A few days ago, my dad, drunk, hit my mom till she vomited blood. My grandmother, refusing to waste money on hospital, helped her at home. My mom died and asked my sister to message me. She said she missed me a lot, but asked me not to come back. I wiped my tears, picked up the phone and said, "Hello? Is this sister? Are you? Yeah? Because you ran away from the wedding." Dad always hit mom after that, asking where you were, but mom always kept silent. A few days ago, Dad came home drunk and took it out on mom for no reason. Mom vomited blood from his beating, but grandma didn't want to waste money on sending her to the hospital. So mom died. Mom wanted me to contact you before she died. She said she missed you a lot, but also told me to tell you never to come back. I asked about my sister after a long silence. A scoff came over the phone. Because you ran away from the wedding. As soon as I graduated from junior high school, I was not allowed to go to school. Grandma said I was a lucky star, and the betrothal money will definitely be 100,000 yuan. She is already looking for a family for me, and I will be able to get married in a little while. Why are you in such a hurry? My sister just turned 18. You have been out for a long time. Sister, you have forgotten all about it. Everyone in the village is like this. And Zuandi is getting married. I can't talk anymore. I can't go out for too long." The phone hung up. All the calmness I had during the call vanished. I began to feel heartache and grief retrospectively. My mom was dead. She was killed by my dad and my grandma. But if it weren't for me, would she have died? A strong sense of grief and guilt washed over me. I couldn't hold back anymore. I started holding my head and crying silently. Revenge. That was all I had left in my mind. I didn't trust this sister, fearing that she would reveal my contact information to my family, which would throw my peaceful life into chaos. The family couldn't find me these past couple of years because they simply didn't know where I was. They didn't know where I was studying because only my mom and I ever saw the admission letter. To them, The letter was merely a piece of waste paper that could be bargained for more gifts. My relationship with my sister was always distant since childhood. She was the family's lucky star. Favoritism towards her was glaringly stark compared to the treatment I received. My grandma would prepare eggs for her, serve her meat. They exempted her from chores and never hit or yelled at her. In contrast, I barely had meat for an entire year. The chores were shouldered by my mom and I would be assaulted from time to time. We didn't share a strong sibling bond. After several months, that phone number didn't send a single message until one day. At 10 o'clock, Arya called me again. "Sister, help me," she pleaded. "They want to marry me to bring good luck to another person. He is seriously ill. I don't know how long he can live." Rush of happiness? Xianxia's series of stories related to bringing good luck from my childhood rushed through my brain upon hearing this term. According to folk beliefs, the person acting as the rush of happiness usually has a deep fortune. Her in-laws would torture her, and her fortune would disperse around those who shared a bed with her, thereby bringing them luck and potentially removing any sickness. But isn't all of this simply legend? She is the Li family's lucky star. How can Grandma allow it? I quickly reassured my sister. "Don't worry. Take your time to tell me." After a deep discussion with my dad, my grandma did not agree to the proposal. Once the matchmaker left, I crept to the door to eavesdrop. Grandma voiced her disagreement, emphasizing that Arya was not only their lucky star, but her life was at stake. However, my dad dismissed the lucky star belief, blaming the fortunteller who had proclaimed Arya a lucky charm. Talking about his son's marriage, he admitted to having lost a significant amount of money and was leaning towards accepting the proposal. My sister told me everything, her voice filled with fear and despair. "There's only half a year left. I have to get married in half a year." Arya begged me. "Sis, I know these years must have been hard for you. I know you went through a lot in school. I was genuinely happy for you in the 800 yuan that Mom gave you. Grandma's gift to me of 200 yuan was part of it. My grandma always favored this lucky star the most, even giving her New Year's money, something even my brother didn't have, so I was never worried about Arya not having a good life at home. Indeed, even the best girl can't compare to the value of a good grandson's fingernail." Arya's words, half pleading and half threatening, made me experience the feeling of being protected once again, unprecedentedly. I ran to Kyoto alone and suffered a lot, but as long as I thought of my mother's resolute yet reluctant expression that night, I swore that I could never let her down. Unfortunately, I am a coward. Apart from sending a few messages, I didn't dare to contact my mother for fear of my family knowing my whereabouts. My mother died before I could fulfill my filial piety. I thought there would be no one to protect me in this world. To my surprise, I still have my younger sister. That day, I promised Arya that I would help her. But time is pressing. What should I do at this moment? In the lab, I was always thinking about it, forgetting to record the data. Yuan, from the same research group, nudged me. "What are you thinking about so deeply? Your status has not been good these days. Do you want me to ask for leave from the professor for you?" I shook my head, just thinking about the rat from the sewer. Yuan laughed. "The rat in the sewer should be most afraid of the sun, right? Why think so much at a young age? How about having a hot pot tonight? I'll treat you." I rejected him with a smile. I have always known Yuan's intentions for me, but I dare not accept. Those who are loved will not have time to consider hatred, and I must take revenge. Yuan said that the rat in the sewer is most afraid of the sun. In the village, I naturally can't match them, so I will lure them into the sunlight. I asked my sister to tell them my news. "Are you crazy? They will drag you down. If you get entangled by them, wouldn't our mother's death be in vain?" "I have made up my mind," my sister asked. "You were sent out by Mother after much difficulty. Do you really have a solution?" I said. "If you don't listen to me, you will have to deal with their marriage proposals." My sister paused. "Okay, then let's do this," I said. "You must protect yourself, sister." I hung up the phone. I'm not used to communicating with my sister. especially my sister who has been silently protecting me for many years. When I got back to the dorm in the evening, I received a call from an unknown number. Seeing the familiar place name shown on the incoming call display, I answered. The voice of my paternal grandmother came from the phone. Sure enough, girls are a loss. We've raised you for over a decade. You've been alone for so many years, enjoying delicacies and comfort. Have you ever thought about your mother, father, and younger brother? You haven't even gotten married yet. Don't think that going to university can get rid of us. No way, you heartless creature. Your mother died and you didn't even come back to see her once. Do you know she died because of you? Your father and I are about to arrest you and let your teachers and classmates see what they have taught. After she scolded me for a full 3 minutes, the desire to kill rose in me when she mentioned my mother. How could she have the right to? Alas, I have always been tongue-tied since I was a child, and I couldn't utter a word to refute, so I had to bear this anger. Fortunately, everything is developing as I expected. Indeed, I am a mute pumpkin, because rather than talking, I prefer to take actions directly. Li Ying, you really have a good temper. I thought my roommates had gone to class, so I put the phone on speaker. Turns out, Jin Shang skipped class. I have something to ask of her. After all, I had helped her before. Helped me beat up a few people. Oh, even a rabbit, when cornered, will bite. Who? How many? Jin Shang has some power in her family, and she is the most righteous person. My father and my grandmother. 2 people. She raised her eyebrow, yet didn't ask much. Okay. Arya became my insider, reporting every move of my father and grandmother to me. From time to time, she would call to keep in touch with me. Sister, can you just beat up Dad and spare Grandma? I was afraid she would worry, so I told her my plan. Why? Actually, Grandma has always been nice to me. If it weren't for her the other day, if it weren't for her. As she spoke, Arya choked up. I comforted her. You tell me? Your sister will call the shots for you. Sister, Dad sold me again. Beast. Li Shu is a beast. I grew up decently, although I haven't seen my sister for several years. She should also have grown up pretty well. Li Shu sold her for pleasure, and that was not enough. He even planned to sell her out completely. One night, Li Shu pulled Arya into the room. You look good. Arya is so beautiful now. What a beautiful maiden. Can't just let her be taken by a sick weakling. After saying that, he closed the door and locked Arya inside. Arya was terrified. She didn't know what was going to happen. She could only keep banging on the door, begging Li Shu to let her out. After an unknown amount of time, the door opened and a stranger came in. Big and sturdy, triangular eyes, looking obscene and scary. He was like a mad dog, sizing Arya up and down with his flushed eyes, and then pulled her onto his lap. Arya, realizing something was wrong, struggled, but couldn't break free. The man covered her mouth and started groping her. Your old man sold you to me. So tonight, I'm your man, be good, and I'll be nice to you. Arya bit his hand harshly. You brat, dare to bite me. He lifted his arm, like most men in the village treating their wives. He slapped her hard across the face, striking her to the ground. She hit her head on the leg of the bed, and it immediately swelled. He pounced on her. You brat. You cost me 2,000 tonight. No, the man ignored her, began to take off her trousers and started to undo his own. Luckily at this moment, grandmother pushed the door open. Who are you? What are you doing? Let go of Arya. Grandmother picked up the broom by the door and started beating him. Let you bully Arya. Let you bully Arya. The man was chased away by grandmother. Li Shu had to return his money, but Grandma was slapped by my angered father. Said Arya, Grandma was indeed very nice to Arya, but she was even better to her son and grandson. She would save her granddaughter from her son, but she would also agree to sell Arya's life for her son and grandson. Arya begged me not to hurt Grandma, and I agreed. She will have other retributions. Arya said that Grandma and Dad will come to find me tomorrow. But Arya can't come. She has to take care of her little brother. I really want to go out and see. I haven't been out for more than a decade. There will be opportunities, I told her. The next day, I brought the people Xianxia gave me and personally went to the train station to pick them up. I pointed at the two people who got off the train and said to the burly man next to me, "These two. Knock out the older one, and the younger one. Break his leg for at least a day." The people Xianxia gave me were very efficient. They quickly knocked them out, hooded them, and brought them to a basement. Li Shu was woken up by the strong man with water. He saw my face, paused for a second, and immediately started swearing. Nothing more than the losing money, goods, ingrate, and other familiar swear words. He cursed so foully that I didn't bother listening, knowing that he wouldn't be able to curse much longer. Get to work. I sat to one side, propping up my head, listening with interest to Li Shu's cries of misery. The person I was most afraid of in the past is now under my foot. The screams of a person can be so melodious. No wonder he used to enjoy hitting my mom and me so much. During the past 10 or so years, Li Shu has always been my nightmare. And now, the person I was most afraid of is crying and begging under my feet. When I first saw Li Shu at the train station just now, I was sweating in my palms. But I'll never be afraid of him again. Please. I was wrong. Stop them from beating me. Li Shu was on the ground, covered in blood, trembling with his hand reaching for my shoe, begging bitterly. This scene felt somewhat familiar to me, only that the roles have been changed. I kicked his hand away. Continue. Screams. Please. I ignored them all. The more the big guy beat him, the more excited he became. Somehow found a steel rod and heavily smashed it onto his leg. Ah, the one who screamed this time was not my dad. It was my grandma. She woke up I don't know when, rushed over to my dad, and took the blow for him. I should have thrown you in the stove and burned you to death like your sister. I said stop to Dahan. My sister. Li Shu confessed everything at once. I originally had an elder sister. My mother became pregnant as soon as she married into the Li family and had a daughter. Li Shu lost a bet in the Li family. In order to repay the money borrowed, ended up emptying their house. Where would they tighten their belts to support a girl? While my mother was asleep, Li Shu held my sister in his arms and threw her alive into the furnace. Our grandmother watched from the side without trying to stop him. When my mother discovered it the next day, my sister was already burnt beyond recognition. My mother was desperate. She refused to eat for days, but only invited my father's violent beatings. It wasn't until she was pregnant with me. She accepted her fate and stopped making a fuss. After giving birth to me, she was vigilant day and night. She feared I would be stolen away again and turned into a handful of ash in the fire. Under such extreme care, I finally stumbled and grew up. My mother never failed me. I allowed Dahan to proceed. Amidst Li Shu's desperate cries, Dahan once again raised the steel rod. After breaking Li Shu's legs and wounding grandmother, I sent them back to the village myself to let them fend for themselves. I was preparing to take Arya to Kyoto. Arya was extremely excited, her withered face flushed with rosy colors. I want to go too. It was Li Zuan, our younger brother. Li Zuan was fat and chubby, a stark contrast to our shabby house. I had never considered him before, because I had limited resources. Taking care of my sister was already difficult enough. Besides, even if father and grandmother starved themselves, they would never deprive this Li family heir of sustenance. However, thinking of my mother and remembering that he was the son she carried for 10 months, I gave in. After all, I played a part in my mother's death, didn't I? I took them both to Kyoto. Although I can earn money now, I still focus primarily on my studies. The earnings aren't much, but I managed to rent a small house in Kyoto so they wouldn't end up homeless like I once was. Arya wanted to learn a skill to support herself. She found herself an apprenticeship in a nail salon and could start work the next day. I asked Li Zuan, "What are your plans?" He glanced at Arya. I am nothing like her. I attended a vocational high school studying computer science. I just got expelled. I didn't like his tone. You're only a junior high school graduate. How are you different? I'm the only heir of the Lee family. She's nobody compared to me. Grandma said you made it big. Why can't you afford a better house for me? Why do I have to live with this dead weight? This kid was either genuinely dumb or merely putting on an act. He couldn't see the reality of his situation. Did he really think I would coddle him like they did back home? If you don't like it here, you can leave. Everything was for my mother's sake. I gave each of them $1,000 a month. I will provide them this monthly allowance for 1 year. Then the rest is up to them. Arya often shared her life with me, just like all the other sisters in the world. Even on my birthday, she bought me a phone with her own money. She said, "The outside world is wonderful. Thank you, sister, for giving me the opportunity to experience it." On Arya's birthday, I brought a cake to our rented small house. I opened the door, only to hear my younger brother panting with a strange woman. Arya was nowhere to be found. It was already 9:30. Arya should have been home long ago. I didn't want to deal with Li Zuan's mess. I turned around and walked out the door, dialing Arya's number. I asked, "Why aren't you at home? And what's going on with Li Zuan?" Arya replied, "He's always like this. Whenever his girlfriend comes over, I have to leave." I asked again, "Why didn't you tell me?" Arya answered, "I'm used to it." She was used to it. It had always been like this at home, even as a good luck charm. She had to make way for Li Zuan. This habit continued till today. I asked further, "What has Li Zuan been up to lately?" Arya said, "I don't know. Sometimes he doesn't come back for days. Sometimes he stays all day at home, often bringing different women over to stay the night. He gets angry when I ask him about it. I would be lying if I said I wasn't angry, but what I felt more was disappointment and sorrow. My mother's son had been spoiled rotten. I decided to stop Li Zuan's allowance. Then, I transferred another 1,000 to Arya. I said, "Happy birthday. Treat yourself to something delicious and buy some new clothes." Surprisingly, she transferred the money back. "Sister, I can earn my own money now. I don't need yours." For the second time, I felt the joy of being a mother. Li Shu went gambling. He borrowed money from me, asking for 100,000 straight away. "Sis, please save me. Where did you get the money to gamble?" It's second sister's dowry." I was taken aback. Dad and Nanny weren't nice to us, but they were impeccable to him, and he actually cut off their source of livelihood. With no daughter-in-law and no dowry, one can imagine how much fuss that family will kick up. I originally planned to contact Li Shu's creditor and get him to put more pressure on collecting the debt. But now, it seems I don't even need to lift a finger. "Sis, I'm the only son in Li's family. I'm just asking for 100,000. Not your life. How can you not even willing to spare this amount?" He has become accustomed to sucking blood, thinking that it is a matter of course. But I don't have Stockholm Syndrome, and I won't get addicted to being sucked blood. These 100,000 is impossible for me to fork out. "Mom died for you," Li Zuan said adamantly. Indeed, as siblings who share the same bloodline, he really knows where to hit me. The only hurdle I couldn't get past is the guilt I have towards my mom. I always feel that her death was my fault. I have no money. Who knew Li Zuan had prepared for it? He showed me a photo from his phone gallery, a small advertisement in the toilet cubicle, along with a phone number. "Sis, I know you don't have money either. I have thought everything for you. You go for surrogacy. I've already contacted this phone number." When they heard you're a postgraduate from a reputable university, they immediately offered me 100,000, if before I still had a little bit of hope to save him. Now, that bit of hope was cleanly severed by him. He's a real white-eyed wolf, a vampire. Li Zuan saw me silent. He raised his voice. "Sis, you wouldn't be unwilling, would you? If that's so, don't blame me for..." Before he could finish speaking, he was slapped hard by me. The slap echoed in the room, unusually crisp. His face was smacked to the side. He was furious. "You bitch. Go to hell." He clenched his fist and was about to hit me, but unfortunately, He had lost a lot of weight over the past 6 months and his strength was greatly reduced. Moreover, I have been practicing self-defense over the years. His fist was easily blocked by me. I counterattacked him with a slap, then kicked him on the ground. I'm ashamed of you being my brother. I looked down on him. Mom's biggest shame is having you. A worthless son, also. I'm not going to renew the lease of the house next month. You sort it out yourself. In the evening, I had dinner with Wuxia and told her about Li Zuan. My sister comforted me heartbrokenly. Sis, no matter what, I'm always on your side. Mom's death had nothing to do with you. Dad never stopped the violence against Mom. Whether you ran away or not had nothing to do with it, even if you didn't leave. He always had other excuses to beat Mom. Mom read the text message you sent her many times. She was proud of you. You were the light in her dark days. She hoped you could completely escape from that house, which is why she didn't message you, if possible. She would want you to forget everything in the past, including her. She would be so sad if she knew you've been blaming yourself for her death. The one who killed Mom was Dad, the nanny, and those who sucked her blood, such as Li Zuan. It's not me. For the first time ever, I held my sister tightly. She's my only family now. Just when everything was getting back on track. A video titled "Female Postgraduate from T University, Heartless and Ungrateful, Assaulted Her Biological Father and Grandmother" went viral on the internet. The videographer was Li Zuan. He fled back to his hometown to escape from debt collectors. In the video, the backdrop was the old dilapidated house where I spent more than a decade. The protagonists were my father, who couldn't walk because of a broken leg, sitting in a wheelchair, and my unconscious elderly grandmother lying in bed. Li Zuan's exaggerated sad description makes people shed tears after hearing it. And the perpetrator of all this was me. I, who flung away the neighborhood I was born and bred in, but refused to support my own parents who spent all their savings on me, viciously attacked them when they came seeking for me. I watched the video calmly. The part about viciously attacking them was true, but it was their own doing. The comment section was filled with sympathy and verbiage. There were those scolding me, those scolding my school, those who wanted to donate to the elderly, and some even investigating my personal details. Occasionally, there were 1 or 2 comments possible from people I knew, defending me, but they were all harshly scolded by netizens with a sense of justice. Arya called me urgently, saying she wanted to clarify for me. She wrote a long explanation, but it was drowned in the torrent of abuse. I didn't pay too much attention. After all, those who know me know what kind of person I am. Things came to a head when Li Zuan posted a second video. The grandmother passed away. Father and son, Li Shu and Li Zuan, had incurred a debt of as much as $500,000. She was beaten for her son, but because there was no money, Li Zuan refused to take her to the hospital. She endured it for more than half a year, initially able to cook for herself, but later confined to the bed. Li Shu symbolically provided her with a little food to keep her from starving, but left everything else out of consideration. She, at last, reached the end of her ordeal. Liberation. However, to the netizens who didn't know the full story, she was killed by me. The topmost comments under the video are my photos. Below the photo are scorns for me, curses wishing for my death. This is the kind of student that comes out of a top university. Huh? How does someone like this deserve a scholarship? There must be some kind of foul play. Women shouldn't be studying. Why isn't Li Rong dead yet? I get annoyed just seeing her. Under pressure, the school proposed a thorough investigation. I was suspended. Previously, I was devoted to studying and conducting experiments, too lazy to deal with these issues, always believing that the innocent would be proven innocent. But now that my normal study life is affected, I had to take it more seriously. On the day of suspension, Yuan called me. Sis, don't worry, we and our instructor all believe in you. You've been following the instructor since undergraduate school. We know your home situation. They never gave you any penny. Just rest and forget about those comments online. We'll explain for you. I returned to my dormitory, trying to find ways to turn things around. My bed linen was abruptly lifted. It was Jin Shang. I'm offering you another piece of evidence of Li Zuan's gambling because you saved my life. Be careful. Your brother dares to touch anything. Thank you. I wouldn't be surprised anymore by anything that Li Zuan gets involved in. I had long suspected something was wrong with him. Despite his skinny stature and lack of strength, he was daring, just not in the right direction. At this moment, Arya also sent me a recording. She said it was recorded before Grandma died. She had always been in touch with Grandma, occasionally sent her money. If it hadn't been for Arya, Grandma wouldn't have lasted this long. Grandma has never been unfair to me. I can't bear to. I'm sorry, sister. I understood that Arya had complicated feelings towards Grandma. She didn't like how Grandma mistreated Mom. She hated that Grandma was the murderer who killed Mom. But Grandma genuinely cared about her. She couldn't just stand by and watch. I opened the recording. Why isn't this old hag dead? Every living day costs more grain. This was Li Zuan speaking. It won't be long. Her breaths are already uneven. Li Shu's voice was full of appeasement. Li Zuan then said, "Do you have any money left? Give me some." Li Shu replied, "We're already in debt. There's no money." Then followed by a lengthy 15 minutes of cursing and beating. No money? Didn't you go out to earn some? You old, debt-ridden cripple. What are you still living for? Go die already. Ouch. Stop it. Zuan, what are you avoiding for? You're useless without money. You deserve to die. 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 Even through the recording, one could tell the force of Li Zuan's blows. Li Shu could not even speak to plead. His humming indicated he was beaten while all he had was this one son to rely on, and he did not dare to fight back. Not even as good as a pig or a dog, I would say. I uploaded this recording online, and also the evidence Jin Shang gave to me. Public opinion started to turn around. My teachers and classmates all spoke out for me. Arya edited our experiences into a long text and posted it. Even the boss of my first job came out to speak for me. I didn't spend a penny from home for school. I was accepted into college but almost couldn't afford to attend. I was sold out by my kin for 100,000 yuan. Since childhood, I have been beaten, scolded, and grew up under harsh treatment. At some point, I didn't even have enough food to eat and lacked clothes to wear. I am the true victim. Netizens began to sympathize with me and apologize to me. Of course, there were skeptical voices too, like who exactly had injured Li Shu's leg and caused Grandma's injuries. But like before, these comments were suppressed and disappeared, causing not even a ripple. The deaths of Li Zuan and Li Shu once again set off a great uproar. Of course, they weren't killed by me. They reaped what they sowed. Li Zuan, in debt, had the idea of trying another round of gambling, hoping he might turn his luck around. However, the internet was full of condemnation for him. Those who had previously donated money to him started to accuse him, demanding their money back. The righteous netizens couldn't wait to devour him alive. With no money left to gamble, he held a knife to Li Shu's throat, forcing him to cough up money. That trick proved effective. Every time he put the knife to Li Shu's throat, Li Shu would come up with some money. But this time, he had truly run out. He pleaded with his son, whom he had raised for over a decade and who was the only one who could continue the Li family lineage. But Li Zuan had long gone mad. He could barely be considered a human anymore. Li Shu was murdered by the deranged Li Zuan with a kitchen knife. Coincidentally, at that moment, the family that had previously proposed a marriage alliance with Arya demanded for dowry. The bloodshot Li Zuan killed yet another person, and used someone as a hostage to demand for money. Li Zuan demanded a sky-high amount of 100,000, or else he would kill the hostage. The family, after all, has some influence as they dared to engage in such business. On the day of payment, a fight ensued with Li Zuan, leaving him half dead and thrown onto the hill. Supposedly, the wild dogs on the hill mauled Li Zuan to death. This was what the police told me when I came back to my hometown to collect the bodies. However, having lived in the village for so many years and having been up the hill countless times, I knew there weren't any wild dogs up there. When Li Zuan's body was found, He was missing flesh in many parts of his body, with bare bones exposed in some areas. Consider this as his retribution. My revenge was taken, but not my sister's. The family who previously arranged a marriage with Yuan again paid a hefty amount to buy a new bride. Today was their wedding day. I purposely brought a large present to join in the festivities. The new bride seemed to be only about 10 years old, dressed in a big red wedding gown. Beside the new bride was a lady holding a rooster. The groom couldn't even attend his own wedding because he was sick. Due to the unethical nature of this feast, there were not many guests. I sneaked in with the help of other people. Those who would engage in such businesses naturally wouldn't lack enemies. The new bride had tears in her eyes. Her mouth was gagged so she could only make whimpering sounds. She was tightly bound by a hemp rope, and a burly old woman was forcing her head down to make her bow. The scene gave me a deep feeling of despair. I started a live stream, kept quiet and continued to record the tragic scene in front of me from a hidden spot. The live stream exploded with activity. What are they doing? Acting out a play? The young girl is pretty dedicated. The hemp rope is tied so tight, but she's acting quite well. Bowing to the rooster. Can the host please explain? Where is the groom? The bowing ceremony ended quickly, but the following procedures were somewhat abnormal. The old woman brought out a whip. When you enter my household, you must be able to endure hardship. Serve your parents-in-law and husband well. If you don't do well, you will be whipped. As a newcomer, I'll give you 3 whips for remembrance. The new bride was young. She struggled frantically when seeing this. The old woman revealed a face full of wrinkles from the laughter. And then there was the sharp sound of the whip cutting through the air. The new bride let out a scream. Her blood-red wedding gown was stained even more vibrantly. Right then, the police finally arrived. Before coming here, I had already called the police. This was the big gift I gave them. Police. Everyone stay still. Everyone in the hall changed their complexion. Those who were timid immediately squatted on the ground and lifted their hands. The old woman who was about to deliver the second whip was immediately pinned to the ground by the police. Seeing that she was saved, the new bride relaxed her taut nerves and lost consciousness out of exhaustion. I finally felt relieved. The live stream had spiked to the top of the trending list. The internet was in an uproar. I needed to go to the police station to give a written report as the person who reported the case. I switched off the live stream as I left. At that point, I had no idea how much attention I had attracted. Netizens tracked down the village where I lived and revealed its ugly face. Making up happiness was a relatively rare situation in our village. What was more prevalent in the village was a folk prescription for giving birth to a boy. If a mother couldn't bear a son, almost every household would prepare a pot of this medicine, and the key ingredient in this prescription was the ashes of the daughter of the mother. It proved effective every time. Apart from this, domestic violence and gambling were commonplace in our village. Our village and neighboring villages were searched thoroughly. My nightmare, Arya's nightmare, my mother's, my grandmother's, and the nightmares of all the women in the village ended. I returned to the campus and continued with my studies. Arya also completed her nail art course. I took out my savings and donated to the young girls in our village who had been relieved. My mother gave me a push which allowed me to crawl out from the abyss. I gave Arya a hand, and together, we saw the beautiful world outside. Those girls just need somebody to lend them a helping hand.